Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So earlier this week, Bitcoin tapped a brand new all-time high at $123.6 thousand. However, the breakout was unsuccessful and we've since seen quite an aggressive tumble back down to 117,000. In today's video, we're going to go over all the recent price action, including new short time frame analysis for exactly what you need to be watching out for in the developing reversal, high time frame effects of the recent crash, and its effects on the broader market as well. Let's get into it. As always, before we dive in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. So jumping right into the price action, let's go over the context of the recent move downwards and the failed breakout before we dive into our analysis into what we're looking for moving forward. So we can see here that essentially what happened in the price action here for Bitcoin was we broke out of this daily chart range, right? Starting from 116 up to $120,000, that level of resistance. Finally closing above there is when Bitcoin tapped that new all-time high at 124.5 thousand, but failing to hold above 120K here and flipping that level to a base of support. Bitcoin re-entered this range here and we're currently back at around that $17,000 region, right? So it was an aggressive move downwards and failing to sustain above 120 and having essentially completed the measured move of this breakout over here. It puts into question whether or not that was the final rally for Bitcoin in terms of the high time frame, whether or not there is a potential for us to see a reversal here as we consolidate on the short time frame and potentially see another move upwards, or the warning signs for a potentially larger correction, what that could also mean for the altcoin market as well. So zooming into the hourly chart, we can essentially see all the levels of significance that Bitcoin has mapped out on the way downwards, as well as the current range that we've re-entered on the short time frame, which will act as our either bullish trigger or the reversal trigger, or otherwise a warning on the short time frame that we're going to see a steeper correction. So starting off with our current short time frame range, what we're essentially looking at is these levels, starting at 117.7K, our current level of resistance. We can see that blue box mapped out there, as well as 3 rejections on the hourly chart, and also it acting as a significant change of character level in the past as well. So 117.7 thousand, and then just below that we have our range low at 16,000 or 115.9K. And the midline of that range at $116.8 thousand. Now I've used a parallel channel to draw it in here. It's not a parallel channel, I've just used it because I think they're really helpful tools in terms of mapping out a range as well as the middle of that range, right? And particularly if we take a look at the midline, we can see that currently it is our crucial level of short time frame support, right? Even in the historical price action within this range, pushing above the midline, we've seen retests of 117.7K, and otherwise falling below it, we've seen retests of the range low instead, right? So it is that sort of short-term frame trigger level for either a move upwards to retest resistance or downwards to retest range low support. Now, before we get into any more analysis, guys, let's really quickly touch on one of the most important parts of being a successful trader, and that's managing your trading fees. So BTC.D has partnered with me to help you guys out and give you 15% off all of your trading fees. So if you'd like to support the channel and you're still really looking for a great non-KYC exchange with lots of listings, high liquidity, and security, BTC.D is definitely a great one to check out. And as a thank you for signing up under my affiliate code, you can get 10% off your VIP membership if you message me your membership number when you check out your VIP membership. Thanks. Let's get back into the charts. Now, this also means that if we're able to push above the range high here at 117.7K or our short time frame resistance, that is going to signal a bullish reversal on the short time frame for Bitcoin, right? Obviously, we've seen a range low retest, push above that first level of resistance, and then move up to retest the change of character level here at 119.2K, right? Because just above that, we have a significant volume gap or a gap in the VRPV profile, and this sort of really empty segment of price action, right? We've just seen this aggressive wick downwards or candle downwards towards 117.7. So reclaiming 119.2K would be really bullish for Bitcoin and signal a leg up for a potentially higher time frame reversal. If we zoom into the minute chart, on the 15-minute chart here, we can see some slightly bullish developments in terms of pushing past that 117.7k. So over here on the short time frame, we're on a 15-minute chart. We can see that we did have a short time frame uptrend here for Bitcoin. Now, while the structure itself has been lost, we weren't able, the sellers weren't able to push past our prior low here in the downtrend. It's currently still holding a support there from 117.0 to 117.2 thousand. So we're still holding that level of support, and we're still currently then forming higher lows on the price action. So we're consolidating in what could become a bullish structure here as we move up against resistance. And if we take a look at the RSI as well, we are seeing absorption of the selling pressure experienced here, right? We have these high highs on the price action and lower highs in the RSI. So a lot of selling absorption is happening there, which is bullish, and it signals a potential here to actually push above $117,000. Otherwise, if we start to print lower highs here on the 15-minute chart, falling below this first lower high, or that first level of support there at 117,000, we'll move down to our range low here to then retest the midline of our current short time frame range right there at 116.8 thousand. And if we lose that, then we'll go down to retest the range low at 116k flat. Now that pushes us into the topic of a potential for a higher time frame correction or even steeper correction for Bitcoin as well. So what happens, or what can we expect if we fall below this range low at $116,000? So pulling up Smart Money Concepts indicator, we can see just below that the next available support or liquidity zone mapped out by that indicator isn't until 114.6. But we can see if we zoom out to the 4-hour chart, what we're then looking for falling below this shorter time frame range here is the larger range that we had mapped out on the 4-hour and the daily chart as well. So if we zoom out to the 4-hour chart, or even the daily chart, whichever one you guys prefer to look at, we can see the base of this larger range that Bitcoin broke out of, right? That's the one that we broke out of and pushed up to 124k from. And the base of that ends at $115.6 thousand. So if we lose the short time frame range of support that we have established here and the range low at 16k, we're looking for then this retest of $115.6 thousand. And that is where our higher time frame potentially bearish consequences begin to form. If we push below that level on the 4-hour and particularly the daily chart, we start to see longer consequences for Bitcoin, or larger consequences for Bitcoin, as we lose some more important levels of support here as well. If we zoom out to the daily chart, we can essentially see a lot of really crucial levels of support overlaid with our current range low here. So at $115.6 thousand, not only do we have our range low, this prior daily range low, but we also have our 4-month long uptrend, the one taking us from $74,000 and onwards, as well as the 50 EMA, and just below it, the next liquidity zone of support starting from $114.7 thousand, let me pull it up, down to 112k over here. So what this essentially means though is, so on the daily chart, we're still at support. While we're above support, support is support till it's not. And while we sit above those levels, there's a potential here for Bitcoin to develop a actual reversal here. But otherwise, falling below, first of all, these structural supports here, we really do risk a higher time frame correction. So if we fall below $115.6 thousand, we've lost both the daily chart structure of the range as well as our 4-month long uptrend. And generally with the loss of structures there, the first thing that Bitcoin would do on the daily chart is a move to retest the 50 EMA, which currently sits right above that liquidity zone. So if we fall below $115.6 thousand, we're expecting a move down to retest 114.6. And if we close inside that liquidity zone here on the daily chart, we can expect a further bearish continuation down to test $112,000 as well. So moving on from Bitcoin to talk about the effects of the correction on the broader cryptocurrency market, let's take a look at the total chart. And what we can see here is actually really, really interesting, guys, because despite the fact that we saw a market-wide correction, I mean, most altcoins crashed and tumbled, and so did Ethereum, they did not fall below, or total itself did not fall below this massive change of character level or the prior high in that range, right? If we take a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart in comparison, we can see that we very clearly lost the breakout level, or that prior high at $120,000, and we tumbled right back down into this range, right? But taking a look at total, we haven't done that, right? So if this was that sort of daily chart range starting at 3.58 trillion up to 3.92, if we zoom into the 4-hour chart, we can definitely see that total is still very much holding that level, right? We're holding as a base of support. Despite increasing selling pressure, we're still holding sort of equal lows there, which is a good sign of absorption. And so altcoins didn't actually experience the crash or the tumble as aggressively. Now, if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance as well, we can see a good sign on the weekly chart, being that we still managed to retain movement below the 50 MA. So the weekly candle close here is 24 hours away. So it happens on Monday morning for those of us in Australia. And what we're really watching out for is for Bitcoin dominance to fully fall and remain below the 50 EMA in this upcoming weekly candle close, as historically that has signaled for massive financial rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins and the altcoin season. Something to continue to keep in mind though is that if we do see Bitcoin continue to tumble on the short time frame and we retest the base of the range there, or potentially lose the base of the range on the daily time frame, we could see total actually tumble below that level at 3.9 trillion, right? So that would suggest a larger correction here for the broader market into this $3.57 trillion level. And that is what could potentially, moving into the weekly candle close, shift things for the market and shift things for Bitcoin dominance and altcoins as well. Alrighty guys, that is a wrap on today's analysis. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you enjoyed it or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And sign up down below to beat you next to get 15% off your trading fees as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.